What's going on Facebook and YouTube Live? Guys, I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. We're going to be talking about a few things. Went fishing at Grayson Lake last week. Actually, this past week, it was Sunday. Last day I got out before I got, had to go back to work on Monday. I've been a couple of days back to work, which I'm glad to be back to work, to be honest with you. So I'm glad to be back, and hopefully we're all going back to school here very soon. I know I want to be back, and the kids do too. We caught some fish. We're going to talk about that, but we're also going to talk, some needed stuff here. I think is boat safety, and when I talk about boat safety, I'm talking about the very basics of operating a boat. And a lot of you guys out there watching are probably looking at this like, wow, I'm not going to watch this show because it's just dealing with boat safety. I deal with boat safety every day I'm out on the water, whatever. I get it. However, I was at Grayson Lake this weekend, again on Sunday, and saw some of the absolute worst boatership or boat driving I've ever seen in my life. So that's one thing. And I'm not saying I'm the best boat driver ever, but, there are rules out there for a reason, and we need to follow them. I want to make sure everybody knows what's going on with that. We're going to talk about that. Yeah, Nate Witt, boat safety, stay off Grace on Saturday and Sunday. Dude, I'm not kidding you. I about ran over a kid that had fallen off of a tube in a really narrow spot of Grayson Lake. And the guy that was on the boat driving it went up, probably another quarter mile, didn't know that the kid had fallen off. They had 5 kids on a tube, and one of the kids fell off like a quarter mile back. There were like 7 jet skis, 3 boats, my boat, and 2 pontoons on the bank, all within this one little mile stretch of, not even mile probably. And it was really, really crazy and really tough. Sorry about that beep. That's the washer and dryer that are going off. Kyle Maddox, what's up, brother? You're right. You're exactly right. It's really scary out there, and I think that, I've been known to drink some beer out on a boat. I don't anymore, but it's so much fun to get out there and have a few cold beverages or whatever. But it's also very easy to not think about what you're doing out there and get kind of like complacent. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. What's up, Aaron? Yeah, man. Thanks for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. And you're right, it's everywhere. But we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. We're going to talk about basic safety stuff that you need to know about, as far as what I think is important. And that is, one, how to overtake a boat when you're approaching a boat, whether that's just, to keep your course or if you're supposed to give way. We're going to talk about that. Some of the boats that that you have to give way to is boats that are under wind power. So if a boat is sailing, you always have to give way to a sailboat, which is, stuff that we're gonna have to look at. But I'm gonna try something really new here. I have a trial thing. This is funny because I'm actually going to be doing this with my students at home too, on virtual students, which is kind of crazy. You guys are the test dummies out there. I'm going to show you guys a trial software that I'm going to be using for my classroom. We're going to look at some different things here. But let's get to the fishing aspect of things first. We went to Grayson again, me and JR Hall. Again, I mentioned on the video, which you guys will be seeing tomorrow or Thursday, will be coming out just a few fish catches we did catch out there. But JR Hall is a buddy of mine that is just getting started in the cardiology field. He's actually a cardiologist at King's Daughters Medical Center. If you're looking for a new heart doctor, look him up. The thing about it is, guys, I gave him a new slogan the other day. I said, if there's something wrong with your ticker, he'll get you fixed quicker. J.R. White. But anyway, we went out fishing. Really good day. We caught quite a few. We caught probably 15 or 20 bass. They were all just the standard dinks that come out of Grayson. I talked to Jeffrey Sparks. He and a buddy of his went out and fished Grayson the same day. They fished in the morning. We fished more of midday. They caught one probably 4.5, 5 pounds, which is a really good time fish for Grayson this time of year. We found most of the fish were, I don't know, they were actually shallower than I figured they would be. And again, we didn't find a single keeper. We're talking, 6 to 10, 12-inch fish was total. I caught a lot of fish on a shaky head. Most of my fish came on a shaky head with either a 4-inch yum dinger, or obviously you guys know that I'm a Jackal Flick Shake dude. The Jackal Flick Shake was there, but I think I caught more fish on a yum dinger just because I fished it more often. I think the bigger profile allows me to catch more fish, especially in the summertime. But the Jackal Flick Shake is something that I use all the time anyway. JR caught some fish on a swim jig. There's a lot of different things about Grayson Lake that I have noticed in the past 6 months of fishing out there. And I don't fish it a ton, but I've noticed some things out there that's different and may actually make the lake better. I've seen grass in the lake for the first time ever. I usually don't fish Grayson this later in the summer, so take that for what it's worth. If you guys are out there all the time, maybe can school me on that. I think the grass is fairly new. It's not hydrilla or anything like that. I couldn't tell you what kind of grass it is. Actually, it's a weird type of grass. I don't know what it actually is. It might be eel grass or something. I'm not sure. I have to do some research. But there were, the fish seem to be located around that grass. But we caught a lot of fish, on rocks and structure as well. Again, JR caught them on a swim jig, caught a couple on a swim bait. There's more. I saw the biggest ball of shad out there in one of the creeks that we were in. That was the biggest ball of shad I've ever seen in my entire life. It was easily 3 times as big around as the radius of my boat or the diameter of my boat. It was crazy. Huge balls of shad. Big old giant gizzard shad, probably 5 inches long or longer. So that's why those fish are getting big in there, I think. Micah Hobensack. Grayson, Kentucky, man. That is, I live in the very most southern tip of Ohio. So if you look at the tip of Ohio being at the very bottom, Grayson Lake is south of that. It's northern Kentucky. Probably about 2 hours north of, probably not that far, hour and a half, hour north of Lexington, in that area. Nate Witt says, been there for a couple years. Thanks for that, man. It's been a while. I usually don't fish out here in the summertime. I'm usually smart enough to stay off from it. As you said, there's a lot of boaters out there that are just crazy. But I have, I think it's becoming my favorite place to fish, because there's so much different structure out there. You can go to Yatesville. Yatesville's just beat up too. And there's only a couple lakes that you can go to. I'm actually spending a lot more time on the Ohio River. Those of you guys that are following my YouTube channel know that. I'm doing a series called Breaking Down the Ohio. I am on episode 3. First episode was me just going out trying to fun fish, trying to find them. Second episode was the live video that we did, breaking it down with the Angler app. The third video was just posted the other day. I went out and found some fish on the bridge, on bridge pillars, with a drop shot using a Jackal ice shad. And then I'm going to go out one day this week after work and try to build on that pattern even more. I may even go over with Nate and those guys and fish the tournament they have on Wednesday. So, well, actually, that would have been, that's tomorrow. Won't be tomorrow. I just tell you, I got too much work to do. But I'm going to get out and do some more stuff. But I've been spending a lot more time on the river because I want to, 1, learn it, and 2, I hate going to Grayson and Yatesville all the time. That's the only 2 lakes really around here to fish. We got Vesuvius, which is a decent lake in the springtime, but it's just so small. You get out there and it's like a merry-go-round. Aaron Webb, when I was younger, we went there. There was a sign that said, watch out for snakehead. I don't know if it was Grayson, man. I've never seen a snakehead or any signs that are like that. I've fished there a bunch. One thing I did catch this weekend, which I've caught one before, I caught a Kentucky spotted bass out of Grayson. I hear tell there's smallmouth in there. I think, matter of fact, Nate's got some pictures of a smallmouth he's caught out of there. I've never personally seen one, but I did catch a really cool looking spotted bass. It was almost so brown it looked like a smallmouth. Andrew, what's up, buddy? Better luck at Yatesville and Grayson. And that was me, but that was because I laid on Grayson or Yatesville more than Grayson. I feel like now that you have a better opportunity to catch a large fish from Grayson than you do Yatesville. Yatesville gets pounded every weekend. There's at least 2 tournaments out of the main ramp, sometimes out of the Greenbrier ramp, sometimes out of Rich Creek if they're crazy enough. There's all kind of crazy stuff that goes on there. There's so much pressure that goes on there, especially since COVID started, guys. Literally in March, Misty and I went out at the end of March, 1st of April, and we're going to do some fun fishing out there. Pulled up in the parking lot of Yatesville on a Tuesday, and there was 150 boats in the parking lot, probably, or trailers for boats. We went fishing, and every bank that we were on were just loaded with people. Pulled up in a community hole, Twin Branch up in Yatesville, and literally there was 8 more boats up in there. I got so frustrated I left. Hit up Tycoon. I've fished it several times. I haven't been there in about 8 years probably. I fished it out of a John boat with a trolling motor with my buddy Aaron Golly. From my understanding, Tycoon is actually drained down now because they're fixing the dam. I'm not sure if it's up to a normal pool yet or not, but I know a lot of the lake's unfishable because they do have it down lowered down for that dam repair. Oh, water snakes as far as like water moccasin. Now, I heard a story, and you know how this thing goes. It's probably a rumor. If you guys have ever been to Grayson Lake is known for the cliff jumping. There's a lot of rocks out there that people jump off from swimming. I heard stories of a person jumping off of a rock called Nyrs. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. It's one of the biggest rocks out there. I heard somebody jumped into the water, got bit by a copperhead in the water, which would be different than a water moccasin, obviously. But I haven't seen many snakes at Grayson total ever, and I've fished there a lot. Strickland, what's up, buddy? Tycoon is half drained. That's what I thought. Man, I tell you what, Strickland caught some hammers out of Tycoon last year, I believe it was, in the springtime. It's got some big ones in it. Hey, Jeremy. Buddy, it's nice to finally put a face to a name the other day. We actually saw Jeremy out on Grayson. He was out there doing some tubing with his family, I assume. And it was funny because I gave him some moving boxes and literally had no clue who he was. But it's actually good to put a face to a name. So I appreciate you joining us, man, and thanks for the support. I appreciate it. Texas rig, 7-inch Berkeley tequila sunrise worm. Yeah, man. I feel like the bigger the better in the summertime, especially if you're looking for bigger baits. I think when I go back out next time out the Grayson, I'm going to be throwing in chatterbait, swim bait, something that I can get through that grass. I think that the fish were active and feeding, but they were I think they were on an ambush pattern where if you rip something through there, you may potentially even be able to get a rattle trap or something through that grass. But that's what I'm going to look at next time I'm out there. What's up, Brandon Buckner? What's up, buddy? Ruin Ramp's the worst ramp for snakes. I had one try to climbing the boat. So that's a Grayson, a Bruin. That's weird, man. That's crazy that you say that. Because I don't know that I've ever seen a snake at Grayson. Not that I'm always looking for them, but maybe I have. Maybe Misty and I saw a snake out of there in Clifty Creek maybe one time swimming across it, but I haven't seen a ton of them. But again, we caught some fish the other day on some structure, found them on rocks more than anything. There's one little spot that I like to fish, a big finger channel up in there, and we caught most of the fish up in there. It was just a shady bank where you can get up in there, and it was about 12 to 15 foot deep up in this cove, which was shady. Caught some fish in there, but the keepers, again, eluded us, which was weird, and that's Grayson for you in the summertime. You can go out there and catch, literally if you throw a wacky rig or something, you catch 100 fish a day. But again, they're going to be this long. They're not very long at all, and I mean, it's fun to catch, but fun to get your family out and catch them, that's for sure. So again, when you talk about well, first off, I want to take this opportunity to talk to you guys. Those of you guys that watch my show and have fished the River Rat Bass Tournament. The River Rat Bass Tournament was started by Mike Drummond. Man, it's been forever ago. I want to think 20 years ago. I think this past year, matter of fact, was like the 20th year of it, or 21st year or something. Actually, it was the 23rd year of it, actually. But the River Rat was a invitation-only fishing tournament that Mike Drummond started way back in the day. Kyle Malone, my fishing partner, my best friend, he is actually Mike Drummond's nephew, and the torch has kind of been passed to us to run it. We ran it last year, had some help from Aaron at Strix Marine, Chris Malone at Malone's, Moose 701 in Ironton, Pepsi, JB's Fish Sauce, the Tackle Box in South Point, Ohio. They all sponsored this thing. We had a great time. We had 32 boats for the first time. It went for a bunch of years, and then Mike got sick, and it didn't happen for the 2018 year. We held it last year in 2019, had a really good turnout, had 33 boats for the first time. And we're kicking around the idea of having it again this year, guys. It's kind of up in the air. We want to have it. It's just a lot of work. And right now I am overwhelmed with my actual job. So we're kind of kicking around that idea. So stay tuned. Those of you guys that are joining us because, if you want to fish that tournament, we're trying to have it. If we have it, I can tell you the dates for sure. It's always the first full weekend in October, which would be the 3rd and 4th. It's a 2-day tournament, $200 entry fee, 2-person tournament, no substitutions, and you can't fish by yourself. There's a 6-fish limit. The reason you can get by with 6 fish is that you have 2 people in a boat, and you can literally have 5 fish per person. So it's going to be a 6-fish limit. But we're going to get that information out in the next week, whether we're going to have it or not. I'm just so overwhelmed with work. Kyle's pretty swamped too. So we're trying to get that done. I know Aaron said he'd help us out and stuff too. There's not a whole lot of tournaments in the fall. Aaron and those guys had to cancel the River Days tournament because the River Days parade and all that stuff was canceled. So they decided to cancel that tournament. And we're looking at having it, wanting to have it. Just depends on if we can make it. So, keep your eyes out for that. Last year was the first time that was ever an open tournament that I know of. Now it's an invitation only. So if you haven't fished it ever before, you'll have to wait until there's an actual opening, another open event, which may be a few years. This is it's kind of a prestige thing where you get a letter in the mail with your invitation, and that's how you get to fish it. So that will be coming up soon. So those of you guys that normally get your invitations, we will be getting with you guys very, very soon. Hey, James, got my new braid, Finn Wind Tamer, black. Put it on my Crowder DC and love it. I've never heard of that braid. That's cool, man. I have to check it out. I'm glad you like it. Crowder DC is amazing. Aaron, let's do it. I'll help out. Guys, that's the deal. Like I've said, I'm trying to have it. I am so overworked right now with work as far as last week I set up, me and another coworker of mine set up 920 iPads for our students. We're trying to figure out how all this stuff works out. I want to have it. There's just right now there's no possible way for me to do it because I can't. I just don't have enough time. If there was 40 hours in a day, I still probably couldn't get it done. But I'm trying to chunk off things so I can start it. Aaron, well, what time are you fishing that? What do you mean by that, Aaron? Talking about the chatterbait and stuff, or what? Just let me know what you're talking about there, and I'll help you out. Micah, did you see the results of Maysville BFL weekend? I think you can catch a bass in Ohio. You just got to. I think if you can catch bass in Ohio, you can catch them anywhere. Yeah. So Micah, one of my buddies, Brandon Klein, actually finished 4th in that Maysville BFL. So I'm gonna give him a shout. Matter of fact, Brandon's fishing a Toyota Series this week. Today he I think is in 19th place as a co-angler in the BFL, or I'm sorry, the Phoenix Toyota Series up on Erie. So I'll give him a shout out, give him some good luck up there on Erie. He's got a couple more days here. He's got to go up a few more. Actually, I don't know if the Toyota guys. I don't know if the co-anglers fished the last day, but he's got to move up a few places to make that cut range. So yes, you're right, man. And that's the thing about why I'm making the video series on YouTube about the Ohio River is that there are several people around here that can catch them. Aaron Strickland is one of them. Brandon Klein is one of them. Jason Wittig, those guys can catch fish like crazy on the river. And I want to be, Nate Witt does a really good job out there on the river. I want to be there, and I want to be able to build a better repertoire of fishing on the river. And all the time, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out how you get better at fishing. One, you do your research. That's what we're doing right now. As a whole, we're doing some live research to talk about fishing. But you also have to just spend time on the water. If you're just watching TV and watching people fish, sure, you can pick up some things, but you're not going to pick up as much as if you were actually out there doing it and feeling it. Like JR, he's been fishing a couple years, but he's just now getting into the bass fishing side of things. So, he's asking me questions that, are legit questions like, how do you, he picked up a Mega Bass Dark Sleeper, and it's one of my favorite baits north. Like if I go to Lake St. Clair, Lake Erie, somewhere like that, I'm going to be throwing that Dark Sleeper. You can bet your rear end. But I've never thrown it down here. Not saying that it won't catch fish. I just never throw it down here because normally I find that to be a smallmouth bait, and that's just what it is. But he threw it the other day up in a creek in Grayson and got hammered by a giant fish. and ended up breaking it off. So it could have been, that's the deal. So we're all learning here. Spending time on the water is what it's all about, and that's right. I mean, if you can catch fish on the Ohio, you can pretty much catch fish anywhere, and that's the thing. Like, fishing really tough places like that. If you fish like St. Clair all the time, you're eventually going to stumble onto one that's hungry and it's going to eat whatever you throw in front of it, right? So if you go down on the river, it's a little different story because you have to know where the fish are going to be because they're so far and few between. Oh, sorry, yeah, Aaron, sorry, the tournament, so it's the first weekend of October. Sorry about that. There you go. Aaron says top 10 make it the third day. That's the Toyota Series. I think Aaron or Brandon and I were talking about traveling together next year, fishing that. And right now, that's my game plan. But right now, I'm actually getting ready to build myself a 30 by 36 garage in my backyard. So we'll have to see what happens there. I'm pretty excited about that. Got some really cool Stratus and On Another Line banners already on their way. So I've already ordered the banners, but I have nowhere to hang them yet, so I got a garage coming up soon. And 16 pounds last weekend at Elm Creek. Yeah, so that's a sack, man. Like, you catch 16 pounds, that's a good day. Allen Creek. So was it smallmouth probably in Allen Creek? Yeah, so there's some big old smallmouth in Allen Creek, I'm finding out. All right, so let's try something new here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to bring in this as a whole, maybe. Maybe I won't. Well, I'll get it eventually. All right, so anyway, we're going to try this out for once. I'm going to see if I can draw on this thing. You guys can see it. Hopefully you can. Check mark. Hey. Again, this Deseri desktop trial. I'm looking to see if this will work for my classroom. So I appreciate if you guys give me some feedback. If you guys can see this out here, this will be gone. But so we're talking about boat safety and we're talking about overtaking boats. And there's one thing that I think a lot of people have trouble with, and that's how you are supposed to approach a boat, or you're supposed to react when you approach a boat from different angles. So if we take a circle and we draw this circle here, and we basically split this up into, I don't know, let's put let's make a crosshair here, and this is terribly drawn here. But so we have quadrants. We have quadrant 1, 2, well, if I would grab the pen instead of the line tool. So let's do 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's just say that you were heading this way with your boat. Your boat is roughly here in the center. Again, you're going this way, and then we're looking at those quadrants, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So with this being said, how, look at what we're doing is in this scenario here is we're actually looking at the boat from an aerial perspective, and we're going again due north here. So anything that you come into, if you see a boat coming into this quadrant, for example, you see a boat coming this way, and it's in that right-hand quadrant to you, you are always supposed to give way. And if you think about it, if the boat driver was driving this boat, matter of fact, I've actually kind of drew this to look like sort of a boat, but if we were to, to draw this around and have a boat here, the boat driver would be roughly here. So he's got to look all the way across his boat to see you. And it could be obstructed by passengers. It could be obstructed by, obviously, windows. There's a lot of different stuff there. So your boat right here, this boat right here would have to give way to this boat. So on the opposite side of things, if you put yourself in that situation where you're the boat now coming into that one quadrant, if you are now, there's a boat approaching this way and you're going straight ahead, they then have to give way to you because they're looking on the right hand. They're driving basically from the right hand side of their boat, which is here. They can see you a lot better than you can see them. They're gonna have to give way, which means they're gonna have to throttle back and make sure that they can either go in front of you safely, or 9 times out of 10 they should go behind you, give away. They should go, behind you this way, passing you. Back here in quadrants 2 and 3, back here in the back, if you are again traveling due north here, and you have a boat coming up behind you in either one of these quadrants, the boat coming up behind you always has to give way to you. And that's because a lot of times you're not going to be able to see those boats. Unless you're in a ski boat or something that has a mirror or some kind of rear view mirror, you're not going to be able to see those boats. That's why the people in the back are always, they always have to give way to that boat in front, because, again, you cannot see those boats at all those times. Another thing is that, I'm not going to get into it here. You guys have all taken the boater safety course. If you haven't, even if your state doesn't require you taking the boater safety course, I would recommend doing it, just for the simple fact that you can learn a lot of stuff that you don't know. For example, port and starboard. One of the biggest things that I have a lot of people wondering, how do I know about port and starboard? How do I know about it? It's very, very simplistic to think about. Again, I'm going to draw a terrible rendition of a boat here. So this is left. This is right. We're going forward here. This is the bow. Left has 4 letters, the same as port. Port, left. This is going to be starboard. Starboard is right. So again, the number of letters that the port word has in it is left, same as left, sorry. So that's an easy way to remember port and starboard. So that's just a quick overview of that. One of the things that I saw this weekend that really perturbed me is that people were just going crazy willy-nilly out there at Grayson, running crazily. Jet skiers, people that's riding jet skis, get a bad rap from people, especially fishermen, because a lot of times they just act like they've never been on a boat ever in their lives. I get it. I don't really get, I don't really look down on jet skiers that much. I'm out there enjoying the water just the same as they are. What I don't like is to see people out there being unsafe, because it potentially could get somebody hurt, killed, even me. Obviously, I like to fish and I love to live, so I don't want to die. But if your state doesn't require you to have a boater safety course, I would recommend going through one. They're a lot of times free online. There's some that are like $20. You get a card with it. Sometimes your boat insurance will actually go down if you present that you've had a boater safety course. So definitely look into that. It might be a reason for you to do it if you haven't. I think anybody born after like 1982 in Ohio has to have a boater safety course. Don't quote me on that as far as the age. I know it's really close there. Actually, it must be 1980 or 81. Misty was born in 82, and she had to take it, so it must be end of 81 or before that. I'm not sure. Maybe January of 1982. I think that's it. But you have to have that. That's one of the requirements. Literally, if you get pulled over by a like a natural resource officer, or I guess any water patrol, whether that be sheriff, you could have Coast Guard, you could be looking at a lot of different things, especially on the Ohio River, that you could be asked, if it's Ohio, to see your boater safety card. Kentucky doesn't require that. Another thing, if you're in my area and you fish and boat on the Ohio River a lot, know that the state was named after the river and not vice versa. And Ohio only owns out to usually the first, when I say owns, part of their territory is out to the first bridge pillar on their side all the way up through there. So most of that is West Virginia and Kentucky water. So just know, and again, there's jurisdiction for all of those people, whether that be Ohio sheriffs, Kentucky sheriffs, a lot of different things there. So make sure you're being safe. Yeah, call Misty out. There she is. Yep, she's older than me, guys. Wasn't me. Is what it took to win those. So both smallmouth and largemouth. That's awesome. And that's why I'm really intrigued to fish Alum Creek. I know that I know a couple people up there that fish it regularly, and I can't wait to get up there. By the way, guys, tonight I'm testing out a new feature of the app that I use to stream called StreamYard. It is a 1080p full HD stream. I don't know that I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to go back and look at the differences between this stuff, as far as what I can see the differences. And again, that's it's you should be looking at me at full 1080p, which is a lot better than I normally have. Normally it's at 720p. I don't know that I can see the difference, and it's quite a bit more expensive. This software that I use to stream to you guys every Tuesday is about $250 a year, and I want to think it boosted up to like $400 for that HD streaming. And I'm not really interested in that. I don't think 720 is good enough for me. Adam Barber, coming straight towards one another, head on. Who goes left? Who goes right? Always end up like heading towards someone with a grocery cart. Yeah, you keep going the same direction they do, and they both keep waving each other. Man, I think it's just like a car. If you're heading towards somebody, you should always go to your right. So if you're going to your right and they're going to their right, you should pass each other. I don't know that to be 100% fact. I think that's how it is. I'm pretty sure that's not, my if my memory serves me correctly, if you're coming head on with a boat, you should always go right. Both of you guys should always go right, unless there's some some obstacle in the way or something that will cause you guys bodily harm or something. Always go right. Nate Witt, actually it was Jacob Crappy, and me and Kyle were in his Z21. He literally just bought this thing. It was like 4 months old. He had a 2015 Z21. We come flying around the big, really sharp curve right there by what's known as affectionately as Sex Rock in Grayson. We come around that big old bend, and Kyle cut the corner off really straight instead of going out and looping through. We cut through it, and next thing you know, Jacob Crappy is coming, and that exact thing you're talking about happened. Kyle went right, Jacob went left. Kyle went left, Jacob went right. It was like this weird game of chicken until luckily at the very last minute, Kyle went right and Jacob went left, or went right at 2. So we barely passed each other. There's a video out there on YouTube, matter of fact, on my channel, that we passed each other. Literally, I'm talking by the skin of our teeth. It was like less than 10 feet we passed the boats by. Matter of fact, I'm almost 100% positive Jacob got soaked from the rooster tail of Kyle's boat. It was a scary deal. Anybody out there have a question or have an idea about that? I'm pretty sure it's you go right. Everybody should go right. If you're going head on, you should pass just like you're in a United States car. You're always going to go to the right of them. Here's a question for you. Why is the steering wheel on the right side, starboard side of the boat? I've often wondered that, and I have no clue. Hopefully, you guys can school me on that. I really don't know why. I don't know why they're not like the Nitros, those center console boats. Why are all boats not center consoles? I know, like I said, Nitro made those bass boats that were all center console, and both the passenger and the driver sat dead center in the boat, and you can walk all the way around the console. I don't know, man. I've thought about that 100 times. Like, why is it on the right-hand side? No clue. I really don't. It's not because they're all made in, Europe or something. It feels like you're driving a UPS or a USPS truck. So, you got me. Quick question here for you guys. I always ask the people that are on my show how, what baits they would never go without. And we're getting ready to transition into the fall fishing period. It's August 18th. It's going to be September before you know it. The leaves are going to be turning brown. The bucks are going to be rutting. Those of you that like hunting whitetails, I used to be so big into it, man. And excuse me, now I couldn't care less if I climbed another tree, because, when the turkeys are gobbling, I love the turkey hunt, but that's when the big girls are spawning in the springtime. And then when the bucks are rutting in October. That's when they're feeding up for winter. So I'm normally out there catching fish. What's your favorite go-to fishing bait for bass? Smallmouth, largemouth, or spotted bass. I'm not picky. What's your favorite fall bait? So I'll go first. You guys throw some comments down there. I'd appreciate it. My first bait is going to be a willow leaf spinner bait from the tackle box. You guys hear me harp on that thing. Guys, it's such a good bait. I'm going to be working with Greg Drown over the winter, hopefully, to get them set up. I haven't really even talked to him about it. I'm going to go up one day next week and talk to him about trying to make a spot where you guys can buy some of his baits virtually using PayPal or something like that, and then ship the baits to you. You will not be disappointed, especially their spinner baits, their jigs and stuff that Greg makes in-house. Phenomenal stuff. But my favorite fall bait has got to be a spinner bait, especially on the river, guys. A gold willow leaf, white and gold skirt, maybe like 3/8, half ounce, depending on what color how deep I'm fishing it. That's a go-to bait for me. Swim bait, obviously. In the fall, you see a lot of shad spawn and stuff like that. You see shad balling up, usually in the backs of creek pockets and channels and stuff. A swim bait is a phenomenal bait to go to in the fall, in my opinion. So what's some of your guys' favorite baits in the fall? I'm just trying to figure out here. I'm going to check I haven't checked YouTube in a day or so. I've just been super busy. I'm going to check my subscribers, give you guys an update of where I'm at with that. Let's see here. Analytics. I haven't looked at it in a while, so I'll give you guys a 90-day update. So the past 3 months, almost 60,000 views, 3.9 thousand hours of watch time. So thank you guys very much for that. Hitting those channels up, sharing my stuff. I appreciate it. Plus 247 subscribers. That is phenomenal. It's weird. My best producing video ever to this date is hands down how to clean boat carpet. Literally. That's the vote. That's the title. 10,000 views in the last 30 days or last 90 days. It's crazy. Brandon Buckner, fluke or popper? So yeah, popper is phenomenal. Like a popper. You guys know my love-hate relationship for a whopper plopper. I think that they do catch fish under certain circumstances, but it's not something that I throw all the time. This fall, I'm going to go out. I'm going to take out some baits that I haven't fished with in 15 years. I'm going to find a original jointed Rapala. I'm going to take a 4-inch Zoom U-tail with a really small weight, like a 16th ounce weight. I'm going to do a jitterbug. I'm going to find about 10 or so baits that I used to catch fish on all the time. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to prove to myself that these fishing baits still work. I think it's going to be a fun time. I can't wait to catch the fish on some older lures. A fluke and a popper is kind of I use a popper pretty much every time I'm out, so I can't really say that that's an older lure. But like I said, a jitterbug. I'd love to get my hands on some banjo minnows. There was, if you guys remember that Roland Martin, I believe had that. I think it was Roland Martin had that banjo or the torpedo lure that was out there for a while. Let's see what else you have. The Dance's eel. Like they have all kind of crazy baits. I don't have a Dance's eel anymore, but I know without a shadow of a doubt it would catch fish. I'm going to go out there and try to catch the fish on these older baits. Tyler Akers, what's up, buddy? Spook, yep. Any kind of walking dog bait like that is phenomenal. Matter of fact, when JR and I was out at Grayson the other day, I threw one for a hot second when it started getting dark there over the grass. So I figured if they were in the grass, they would eat it on top of the water, but they must have been way deeper in the grass. Some of the grass at Grayson, I did find out, was like 14 foot deep and was almost to the surface. I was flabbergasted and I was floored. I was like, there's no way this grass is that tall, like 13-foot grass. No way, no way. So what I did is like I took right next to it. I thought there must have been a stump or something that it was growing up on. I just took a bait and dropped it down right beside it, and sure enough, it was that tall. I ripped a section of it up, and it was ginormous as far as how big it was. So I think the fish were a lot lower than in the water column than I thought they would be. I'd say in the summertime or in the especially in the fall, but in the morning and real late at night, you can catch them on a popper or that walking dog bait for sure. Aaron Webb, buzz bait or devil's horse. So devil's horse, you're right, or old devil's horse. So yeah, so that's another bait that could happen. I actually have one of those laying here. Matter of fact, it might be up there on my deal. And I think I've showed you guys these before. But I got these crankbaits. My cousin Kip actually gave me these crankbaits. They're made by a fella named J.D. Clay, and this has a 2009 handwritten date on it. It's a phenomenal looking bait. This has a bill that's super thick. That's like 1/8 inch thick, probably pretty close to it. It's I don't know, maybe 5/16, but it's or not 5/16, but 3/16 maybe. But it's thick. This is the bigger of the two, and they're both from JD Clay. I'm just interested in throwing these things out around, try to catch a fish on them. I know in places like Chickamauga and places like that have bigger bass in it that would have no doubt of eating this thing. But I am super impressed with the way these crankbaits look. They're hand carved. They seem to be hand carved. They have some kind of foil lining underneath the actual the clear coat of them, the epoxy. I'll grab the other one here really quickly. No doubt I'm going to get hooked. But these things are really cool looking baits. I have a feeling that this right here is going to catch fish. The other one might be a little too big for around here. Maybe not in the springtime. But I'm interested in throwing these things. So this is made by a fellow named J.D. Clay, 2008 and 2009. So maybe something like that I threw. I have some really old baits. They're up there. I have there's a river runt, Dowagiac lure heading. Flatfish. There's about 10 lures up there that are way older than I am. I'm talking like made back in the 50s, and I can't wait to try to throw them. I mean, I throw them up there, thinking that I'm just going to leave them up there. You can't catch fish with them sitting on the shelf. Yeah, so I'm right there with you. So I don't know if these were modeled after those Rick Clun Poes, but like I said, these things are fairly large. This is the smaller of the two. This is a way bigger one that's still, and the bills are this actually, like, this one's a thicker bill than this thing. They feel like substantial lures, man. They feel really good. I'm sure they're probably musky baits. Or maybe this dude just catches some hammer largemouth. I don't know, but they do look cool. I can't wait to throw them. Missy said, "Can I say crankbait? That's my favorite." Yeah, so she throws a crankbait on a spinning rod and usually wears them out. She usually catches more than I do. And there's something to say about that. Throwing a crankbait on something that you're not throwing it as fast. You're not reeling it as fast as you would on a bait caster. So that's why she catches a lot of them. So she throws a DT6 a lot. A Rapala DT6 or a KVD 1.5 Strike King, and she's thrown a couple bandits because they are colors she likes, pink, purple-ish things. Yeah, boy, I got them in the boxes, that's for sure. So some of these lures here. Here is a Heddon River Runt. It's not picking. There we go. The boxes are just destroyed. I try to keep them as well as I can. This one's really cool looking, guys. This is really cool. And I think this is a saltwater lure, so old that it's got like stainless hooks on it. They actually may be aluminum hooks. I'm not sure. But check out this little bluegill. Pretty cool looking deal. This is a Headin pumpkin seed. I don't want to throw the things, but what am I going to do with them? Like, I can throw them up there on a shelf or whatever. Who knows? The P&K Whirl Away. Pretty cool. That's an all wooden bait there. The last one I have down here is this little jewel right here. It's got some rubber on the side of it. I think this thing had a skirt on it, actually, and it actually just melted away after the years. One thing cool that's about this thing, and it's probably tough for you guys to see, but it has a little shark fin on the bottom of it. Like you can see it if I put some. It's almost like a skeg for a water ski, which is really cool. So get some out, try to catch them. It's pretty cool. I always wanted to. I collect old lures, but I mean, literally, I have enough stuff in my house. I want to take them out, try to catch them. Aaron, throw them in a box and send them to me. No, sorry, man. I did though. You guys can't see them up there. I need to zoom it back out so you guys can see it. I made this prop back here and then never did anything with it. I have 2 Shimano Bantams still in the box that were given to me by a teacher that one of my good buddies that is a teacher with me. His dad had them in his garage. His dad's neighbor gave them to them. I play music with this guy all the time, and he's like, "Hey man, I found these boxes in my dad's garage." He said they might be beneficial to you. You can have them, if not, just throw them away. And I know I'm gonna get hooked here showing you guys this, but have so many hooks up there. But I literally have 2 Shimano Bantams. These things are almost immaculate as far as the boxes go. It's crazy to see. Those of you guys that are familiar with the Bantam, the Shimano Bantam, know that it's one of the best bait casting reels on the planet, especially if you like Shimano. But this thing is, it's pretty cool. So this is the 100 series, which is a smaller series. Everything still works. The drag still works. You're not going to be able to see it, but the spool is a V pattern, which is really cool. Still has the receipt in the box. Still has all the paperwork in there for that thing. But this Bantam 200 SG actually needs a little work done to it. But so pretty cool stuff. These are, again, 2 Shimano Bantam. This is a 200. Has the external brake control on the side of it, and I just dropped everything out of the box. So there's a receipt in here that's super long, so the most expensive thing on here is $43. So I assume that's probably this reel. $43. I'd love to be able to get a Shimano Bantam for $43 nowadays. Corey Weaver, what's up, buddy? Hey, man. First and foremost, I got your text message the other day. I've just been super busy with work and everything else, so I am still interested in getting with you guys to do a giveaway. But it's going to have to be a few weeks here, maybe into the winter time, where we can drive some people to both of our groups before then. I'm still trying to get to it. I just have a ton on my plate at this time. Guys, we're right now about 49 minutes in. I feel like I'm blabbering on. I have a couple people coming on next week. I try to get Brandon Klein to join us tonight, talk about his success today in 19th place as a co-angler for the Toyota Series. But he said he was going to be in bed. He got up at like 2 o'clock and drove up there today, I guess, and fished all day. So he's headed to bed fairly early. But I want to give him a shout out and tell him, to catch him up there, man. Win that thing for sure. First and foremost, tonight's episode is brought to you by Hydraulic Services and Supply in Ashland, Kentucky, and Shimano. Hydraulic Services and Supply in Ashland, Kentucky on Front Street, guys. They are the hands-down place to go for hydraulic services. If you need the hydraulic steering worked on your boat, you should look no further than those guys over there. Get a hold of Larry Slack. Get a hold of the people at Hydraulic Services and Solution or Service and Supply, which again is over on Front Street. I think it's 2200 Front Street. Don't quote me on that. I think it's 2200 Front Street in Ashland. It's over down on Greenup Avenue. You turn left like you're going over to the flood wall, and it's right there. They actually, guys, they will fix hydraulic cylinders that are this big, and they're right now, again, as I was telling you guys last week, they'll fix hydraulic cylinders that are 40, 50 foot long. These guys know what's going on, and they will hook you up, so definitely check them out. Obviously, you don't have to hear me talk about Shimano a lot. You guys know that I fish Shimano, and I don't think there's any other company on the planet that makes a better reel, rod, what have you. A lot of people don't know that Shimano actually owns G Loomis as well. The new Shimano Zodius has actually hit the store at the Tackle Box of South Point, Ohio. As far as I know, they're one of the first people around here to get them. And I think it looks like they had 3 casting, 3 bait, or 3 spinning rods up there. If you missed the last 2 live shows ago, we talked about the new stuff coming out from Shimano for the virtual iCast. One of those was the new Shimano Zodius rods. They have the carbon monocoque handle that was on the Poison Adrena originally. It's a carbon handle, carbon butt piece that goes from the reel seat back to the end of the rod. Gives you more, it's a more solid feel. It's actually basically like extending the rod blank to give you more sensitivity. And they did finally add a hook keeper to a Shimano rod. That's what I am talking about. Those of you guys out there that would like to get their hands on some JB's fish sauce, go over and check out the Pinch O Garlic, which is the on-of-the-line signature blend. It's a custom blend of crawfish and garlic in my own proprietary blend. It's been working. You can ask Brandon Buckner. He's been catching some fish on it. I use it every time I go out. I will not be caught without it. Again, jbsfishsauce.com. Go over there and hit up that Pinch O Garlic. Get the 4-ounce mist spray, and you will not regret it. It is out there. The sprays are available. So, guys, I got a video coming out tomorrow or Thursday. I'm trying to figure out once I get it done, I'll actually release it. Basically dealing with our fishing trip to Grayson on Sunday. That'll be coming out here. Those of you guys that are here and are, just now joining the YouTube channel, I appreciate the heck out of that. You guys joining and sharing my content, I appreciate it. There we go. Larry Slack says it is 2200 Front Street. Go check him out. If you need anything done with a hydraulic cylinder, guys, I'm talking about if you work at a plant and you need one that's redone that's 40 foot long, get a hold of those people in Ashland, especially Larry Slack there. They will get you hooked up. These guys will even come out to your place, give you an idea of what it's going to take to fix it. They have a machinist there. I think his name is Chris Stender. I'm maybe wrong. He has a really cool Instagram page called Stendo the Machinist on Instagram. Shows you all about it over there. So everything. So Aaron, hey man, see you later. Thanks for joining me. Those of you guys that are out there on YouTube, I appreciate you joining me. And if you guys haven't subscribed, I would appreciate it if you would consider subscribing. It makes a world of difference to me. The other day, I had to sit and think about all of the things that really make me want to do this. One is meeting new friends like this. Again, I met J.R. Hall. I've met a lot of people through my show, and I think that's where it's all at. I want to meet each and every one of you. I want to go fishing with you guys. If you guys are in my area, we're going to make it happen. We did replace the fuel injector on my boat last weekend, or last week. Josh and I, quick shout out to Freedom Outdoors in Wheelersburg, Ohio, and Kevin Wells there hooked me up with a new fuel injector. Called and told him I needed a port fuel injector. Went up there, they ordered it for me, got it in. The part was like $317 for the fuel injector or whatever for my boat. Those of you guys that are not aware, you actually have to have a coefficient file to install a new injector on an E-Tech, and you have to have this .dat file. And if you don't have that, you can't replace the injector. Actually, if you don't have the correct data file or the coefficient file, and you just install the old injector with the new injector with the old coefficient file from the old injector, you potentially could blow your motor up and risk major damage to your power head. But we did get that. They ordered it for me on a Monday. I had it on Wednesday. I had to put it in on Thursday. It was a legit process. Kevin Wells up there, who is an absolute hammer. He catches fish everywhere. So shout out to you, buddy. If you guys are out there watching, I thank you for taking care of me up there, ordering my part and getting it there on time. I appreciate it a ton. So guys, anytime you have a question, shoot me a message. If you haven't already liked my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/on another line, just like youtube.com/on another line. I appreciate it without a shadow of a doubt. You guys joining me, I appreciate it. It means more than you know. I try to answer every question that's sent to me. Those of you guys that are out there hating, like the dude that said, hey, this is nothing more than a bunch of blabbering going on about something that means nothing to you. Thanks for the comment. Thanks for the view. Hashtag you're helping me out. Like by commenting, I don't get it. People are like, oh, like, heck with you, dude. You don't know what's going on. You have no clue what you're doing. Blah, blah, blah. Like, as a whole, my advice to you is if you're that miserable and your life is that miserable, just move on with your comments, because I don't respond to negativity. Matter of fact, I delete the comments a lot of times. But those of you guys that have questions and are, throwing out some constructive criticism, I'm all for it, because I want to become the best fisherman as possible. 56 minutes in, guys. We got 15 people out there watching. I'm going to sign off tonight. I got a few things I got to do for my job this evening before I start back. We'll go back to school tomorrow again with I got a few more things. We don't go back to school until the 31st. There was actually a local school district in my area that went totally virtual last night for the first 9 weeks. I'm hoping we don't do that. I want to go back, see some of my kids. But until then, guys, get out there and lean on them. If you guys have any videos that you'd like to see me produce in the next few days, I'm going to do a video series on building my dream garage. Basically, I'm going to be adding all the things that I need to be added. We're going to be talking about drains in the center of it. Do you need one? Should you have one? I'm going to be looking at the pros and cons about how to I'm looking at trying to do a spray on, or like a spray installation. Everybody says it's super, super expensive. I think the price has come down a lot. I'm thinking that I can do my entire garage for about $1,000 from what I'm seeing. You're going to have about that much in regular standard installation. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to be putting up some pine tongue and groove boards on the walls, hanging up some of my favorite baits, some Zoom baits, some Jackal baits, KVD, the gamut. So that's a video series that's going to be coming out this winter, and we hopefully will see you guys out there on the water. We have a few, we'll have a lot of video series coming up. So thank you guys for joining us tonight on Another Line Live. Talked a little bit about boat safety. We talked about fishing at Grayson. We've talked about Brandon Klein doing well up in Erie, and some baits and older baits that I plan to try. Guys, again, thank you for joining me tonight on Another Line Live. We'll see you next time. If you can, get out there and lean on them. We'll see you next time on Another Line.